Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. This is where we share strategies and insights to help you work smarter, build stronger relationships, and create the success that you deserve. This show is proudly sponsored by Kits Keep In Touch Systems, your ultimate marketing and lead generation CRM. REM Real Estate Magazine, Canada's trusted source for real estate news and insights. And Revel Realty, redefining real estate with bold marketing, cutting-edge training, and a culture that empowers success. Learn more about our sponsors and download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle at mindshare101.com. While you're there, discover how our full range of services can help take your business to the next level. From one-to-one coaching for personalized growth, to the Mindshare Collective group coaching for community-driven success, momentum training to build unstoppable progress, and keynote speaking to inspire and motivate your team. We're here to elevate your game. And while you're at it, learn more about joining the revolution to experience the bold new way that real estate is being redefined. Today's episode is number 334. And we're diving into why this spring market is exposing lazy agents. Now, I want to start off today by first off saying thank you. A big thank you to all of my regular listeners. A big thank you to you if you're a first-time listener. This show, as I just mentioned, this is episode number 334. We've been going 7 years in a row here. It's been quite the ride, quite the journey. I've had the opportunity to interview some amazing, amazing people along the way, learn from a ton of people, learn a lot about what it takes to produce a podcast and all the time involved and the effort and the thinking, everything that comes along with it. There's been a lot of growth and a lot of amazing stuff that's come out of this. But as is such, everything always has its time. And as I always encourage everybody else to review their marketing and review their strategies and review where their time goes and review what's working and what's not working, and even when some things are working or some things aren't working, sometimes it's time to make a change. And we're kind of at that point. We are thinking to ourselves, do we continue with the show? Do we continue producing the content? Do we continue going as frequently as we are? Now, I know that we've got a lot of folks that listen to this show regularly. In fact, over the time, it's, and I've mentioned this in previous episodes, but we've been ranked top 2% globally for all podcasts. We've been ranked, I think just recently, as the number 6 podcast in specifically the real estate industry across North America. We've had some fantastic accolades. I've had people tell me that they listen to the show that I never knew listened to the show. And it stretches well beyond here in Canada. We've got a lot of listeners down in the States. We've got a lot of listeners. We've actually got listeners across the entire planet. And if you ask me, how do you know that? A lot of the tools that we use to syndicate the show, they do provide the statistics. They do let us know what kind of devices you listen on, which apps you listen to it on, what part of the world you're in. So we get to see a lot of the insights. And so you might ask, so why in the world, if you know that it's working, would you decide to make a change? Well, just like anything, everything's got its time. Got to keep it fresh. You got to do things exciting. We've always got exciting things coming up. Now, if this in any way strikes you as, no, Dave, don't do it, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, please. Please send me an email. Send me an email to david@mindshare101.com and or DM me on Instagram. Let me know that you don't want the frequency to change. Let me know that you are a regular listener and that you maybe rely on this show or really look forward to this show. We want to hear from you. We want to know what kind of impact this may make in your regular listening and learning along the way. Because, of course, we want to continue to provide value, and we're going to continue to do so. Much the same, We do want to hear from you. We'd love to hear the feedback. Does this concern you in any way? Do you want us to not stop or not slow it down? Do you think that maybe changing up the frequency might be okay? Is the length of the show okay? We're looking for feedback from you. And, of course, we always get the feedback, and we ask a lot of folks, and we've got some feedback. But hearing from you is incredibly important. So I'm going to ask you to please do me a favor. Get in touch. Let me know your thoughts. Tell me that you heard about this, this episode. You heard this part of the episode, and let me know what you think about what I just said. I'd be grateful. All right. Let's get into today's topic, okay? Let's get into why this spring market is exposing lazy agents. And of course, it's not just about the why, but we're going to talk about what you can do about it. Now, we know that some markets are heating up. There have been some markets across the country that are, interestingly enough, doing fairly well. Much the same, though, when we look at sort of the major urban centers, we know that some of them are quite dead. Now, interest rates haven't moved. We saw the BOC hold tight. Inventory in of itself is tight. And, of course, we just came off the heels of a federal election that changed absolutely nothing. So, yeah, frustration is high right now. People are still hesitating. People are still on the fence. And for all the buyers that were hesitating to begin with, as we were leading up to the election, as we were leading up to interest rate announcements, as we were getting into the new year, as we were watching what was going on south of the border, there was a lot of both buyers and sellers that were sitting on the fence, waiting for the spring market to come up. But now as we look at with interest rates holding where they were, waiting to see what that next interest rate announcement is, going to be. People are waiting it out a little bit, seeing are they going to be able to save a quarter point on that mortgage. And then on the other side, we've got sellers who are still, for some reason, unrealistic about what that house should sell for and how quick that house should sell. It's causing problems. Now, agents, a lot of agents are just, seems like a lot of agents are waiting. Like waiting for the spring market to save them. I'm going to tell you something. Spring isn't saving anybody. In fact, it's exposing the lazy people. It's calling out the agents who haven't put in the work. But it's also rewarding the ones who have. Look, this market isn't broken. It's not a bad market. It's a tough one for sure. In fact, let's call it, it's honest. And it's showing you exactly where you stand right now. So in this episode, we're talking a little bit of politics. We're talking pressure. We're not going to dive too far into politics. I did that the last time it was just me and the microphone. But pressure, performance. Look, I want to help you get unstuck, okay? We're going to talk about where the deals actually are and why this market is the best thing that could have happened to your business. I mean, that's if you are ready to treat it like one. So let's get into it. As we go back to sort of one of the initial statements I just made a moment ago there about, buyers and sellers, and there is a lot of uncertainty around those rates. And it begs the question, I mean, for the folks that are waiting, they're waiting for those rates to come down. Is it possible that the rates go up? I tell you, anything is possible at this point right now. Nothing seems to make sense these days in this country that we live in. I once would have said that in this great country of ours, but that word great, I can't attach to this country right now. And I know, oh, Dave, cry me a river. Listen, don't tell me that life isn't inexpensive right now. Don't tell me that you're able to do all the grandiose things that you wanted to do right now. Let's be real. It's tough. In fact, not only is it tough, people are scared. There's so much uncertainty going on out there at this moment. What's going to happen? What kind of policies are going to be, brought in? What's going to come in that's going to make this country better, this economy better? What's going to come in that's going to make it worse? And of course, depending on what side of the line you're on, you might say, hey, I love the trajectory we're on. And look, you're entitled to that opinion. I can't share that sentiment with you at all. In fact, I don't like the trajectory that this country is on. Haven't liked it for some time now, a few years now. I think we just keep going down and down and down. It once was an amazing sense of pride to wear that maple leaf. To call yourself Canadian, to be Canadian. Now it's hard to recognize what a Canadian really is. In fact, many people that you ask them like, where are you from? Or what's your background? Most people don't even say Canadian. I was driving through the U.S. the other day, coming back from a baseball tournament, and my kids noticed how many people were sporting American flags outside of their houses. Like down south of the border in America. And, we explained to them, we said, hey, Americans are really patriotic. And I myself at one time too, as a Canadian, was incredibly patriotic. But overall, people in Canada, the Canadians, the ones that have been here a long time, the ones that maybe came in a long time ago, the ones that really appreciate what it is to be a Canadian, they're patriotic. We are. But it's changed. Now, when we come back to this topic of buyers and sellers, as I just got off on a little bit of a tangent there. With all of the fear and all the uncertainty to what's coming, people are going to continue to be on pause. And it's what we call a mindset freeze. That's where people are at right now. Much the same what it does now is it causes, those of us in the industry to also be frozen. Waiting for this spring surge. And I shouldn't say us, but I say those in the real estate industry, realtors, who are just waiting for that, that spring market to just pop up and go, yeah, let's go. Here it is. I mean, we're here in the month of April already. Is the spring market coming around the way we want it to? Is it having that excitement, that sense of busyness that it normally does? Not yet, at least. In fact, somebody said the other day that they're very optimistic about a fall surge. And I love the optimism. I mean, I love seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But again, what does that do? That means waiting, right? So here's that freeze that's going on. So what we need to understand is that spring isn't saving you. In fact, it's exposing you. If you're not doing what you need to be doing, you're going to continue to have struggles out there. You're going to continue not to have the level of business that you're looking for, the volume that you're trying to get through. You're not going to be hitting the goals. Nothing is going to save you. The work you did 30, 60, 90 days ago, 120 days ago is why you're getting the business today. Or the lack of work that you did 30, 60, 90, and 120 days ago is why you're getting the lack of business today. See, if you didn't put in the work back in that time, it's going to be really tough to have something now. And any agent who's waiting for that market to just kind of shift, things are going to come around. I'm telling you now, you're just going to keep waiting. We're in a different economy. It's not what it was. Mindsets are in a different place. Everybody's on edge. Everybody is uncertain. Now, why is this, okay? Why is this market continuing to expose the laziness? Well, most people don't have any real follow-up system. No consistent prospecting. No actual marketing plans. Instead, it's just I'm going to put up a random post, or I'm just going to go for a random coffee with my girlfriends and take a selfie. There's no client education. I keep talking about the fact that we need to communicate to educate. And within that is setting expectations with people, letting them know what's actually going on, not allowing the media to dictate it all. And often, there's a lack of self-development, a lack of personal development, a lack of working on thyself to help make yourself better. If you're still working on whatever plans you had back in 2018, in today's market, that's 7 years ago. Look, the reality of this all, this doesn't. The reality is this: the market doesn't reward good intentions, like people who want it. It rewards actual execution. It rewards actually taking action. That's where you win in a market like this. You have to do. You can't just wait around. And if we do go backwards a few years back, when every agent was a rock star, being able to put a sign on the lawn and sell that thing in 30, 60, 90 seconds and go, hey, look at me. I sold for over asking. Oh, look at me. Look how much money I made. Look at me. I've got this big Instagram account, right? I take nice vacations, or I bought a nice car. I wear a fancy suit. Everybody was able to, sort of be this rock star. But now all of a sudden, those who sort of took it all for granted, who, again, didn't put in the systems, didn't put in the processes, didn't run it like a business, they're having issues. I mean, look, for those of you agents ghosting your own databases, and I'm talking literally not picking up the phone to make the phone calls, not touching base with people, not putting people on a 10-year plan we teach our coaching clients. That is wrong. That is why you are maybe dried up right now or not seeing the level of business you could be seeing. And look, if you're one of these agents right now who's seen a level of business that you are somewhat happy with, I ask you, could you be doing more? I mean, never mind agents just ghosting their databases, which to me is enemy number one to your entire business. But then there's agents doing quote unquote busy work. We're avoiding real conversations with people. We're avoiding, again, communicating to educate, like I said. And then we've got agents who are completely obsessed with, stats and looking into stuff and being involved in what's going on in the industry. And this is good stuff. But they're avoiding building the relationships. And notice how all that goes hand in hand with each other, right? We're ghosting databases. We're avoiding real conversations. We're avoiding building relationships. And again, there's this expectation that things are just going to come around and things are going to be good. But you and I both know it right now. Market's not exactly doing what we wanted it to be doing at this time of the year. Tons of outside factors. But we can't control those. See, what the best agents are doing right now, I'm talking about the ones that are getting deals done. They're not waiting for the market to improve. They're improving their game, their business processes, their systems. They are working on their business instead of just in their business. So what are some things you can do? What can we do to take away from this, to put this into action, to get more tactical with how we're driving business? Sorry, that coffee break was brought to you by I'll say it was brought to you by Ember. And you're like, Ember? Who's Ember? Well, if you're asking who's Ember, then you don't listen to enough of these solo episodes. No, Ember is my heated mug for my coffee that keeps my coffee at the perfect temperature. And I've got this coaster here in the studio on my desk. And that coaster will keep the coffee mug hot. Now, it's not the mug, but it's the element inside that keeps the coffee hot at the perfect temperature that I want it at. Now, if I don't put it on the coaster, at some point, of course, the battery sort of gets low and the coffee doesn't stay as warm. But you got a good 90 to 120 minutes on that prior to that. So, greatest mug I've ever owned when it comes to having a coffee. Anyhow, that commercial break was brought to you by Ember. And since we're talking about coffee, we're going to take one more of those. It's funny, as I talk about off the top, not potentially, slowing down the frequency of the show. And I think that's where it would get to. It wouldn't be an all-out, cancellation. I do enjoy this, and I know that there's a lot of listeners out there. And if I haven't said it yet, which I know I have, I am super grateful. But as I say that, I will say I do enjoy the production of this. I do enjoy being able to get into your earbuds, into your speakers, into your head, all in an effort to help you, all in an effort to say something that might spark a thought that gets you going, yeah, I like that. I'm going to do that. Or, oh my God, am I doing that already? I got to stop. My goal is simply put, to help you be better, to help you find something that's going to help you get to your next level. That's where I truly enjoy. Anyhow, okay, coffee's down. Commercial break over. We are back to our regularly scheduled program here. So, what are the best agents doing right now? Okay, what are the ones that are seeing consistent business? What's happening? What are those tactics? Okay, and again, they're not waiting for the market to improve. That's the first part. They're improving what they do. Okay, so again, they're not waiting for the market to do it. They're doing it. And I'd say, again, you know what? That comes right back in line with what I mentioned about, again, the frequency of the show and the production and the time and everything else that goes into it. Improve your game. Figure out where there's another opportunity. So here, tactical moves, okay? Educating their clients every single week. Not standing by and allowing the media to do it for them. Not standing by and allowing other realtors to do it for them. Not assuming that they just know, but actually connecting with their clients on a weekly basis to have the conversations, to ask the questions, to see who's interested in, not only who's interested in making a move, but just who has questions about what's going on within the real estate industry. Pardon me, not the industry, but the market. Those same agents, they're sending real newsletters, not canned ones. Actually communicating with people. Weekly or monthly updates that just keep people informed, that continue to build the mind share, that consistently put them in people's inboxes and mailboxes. Yeah, I know people will talk about the fact, nobody reads newsletters. No, nobody reads shitty newsletters. But if they're informative, if they're easy to read, if they've got some good facts on them, they're not overly heavy and long, people will go through them. I mean, hey, just like this podcast. If you're listening to this show and you keep coming back to this show, or once again, you are a first-time listener to this show, you're still here right now. We've been in for, over 20 minutes now talking. So am I giving you substance? Yeah. By the time you walk out of here, are you going to know how not to be a lazy agent? Yeah. Same thing. Hopefully you'll come back and you listen to the next episode. So with your newsletter and your messaging, it's the same type of idea. You got to send something. Without sending it, know that somebody else is. You just have to. And you might even say, well, we get so many newsletters. Okay, cool. So step aside. Don't be one of them. Let somebody else do it. Just know that you're minimizing your chances. You're limiting your chance of getting that business. Some folks are actually back to hosting, buyer and seller webinars. Or even back to hosting, information sessions, live Q&As. Actually creating an opportunity for groups of people to pose questions, to get the education, to connect, to just learn about how much you know with what's going on in this industry, how much you know about the market, excuse me, and how much you could help them. Putting yourself in a position to be looked at as an authority, as what we call a trusted advisor. Because the trusted advisor is the one that gets the business, right? Because there's that key word, trust. And when you got trust, you're able to earn a new buyer, you're able to earn a new listing. So think about the fact that you could put together information sessions. And if you're like, where do I even start? Start with your contact list. Okay? Go right back to the top here that I said educating your clients every single week. I'm not saying you got to host a seminar every week, but put something together, maybe quarterly. Maybe do it 2 times this year. Start with your contact list. There's your audience. Those are the people I want to talk to. Start marketing to them. Pick a date of when it's going to be. Is it virtual or is it in person? Find your location. And then start messaging people. Start letting them know what's happening. Create an RSVP. Get a sense of how many people are going to join you. But it's a great opportunity to be looked at as an authority and a trusted advisor. And it puts you in front of real people, and it puts them in front of you as a real person. That's where relationships get built. And again, this is a relationship business. These same agents, they're building authentic social content. Not all of them. There's some that have been in this game for quite some time that are, in fact, absolutely amazing, rock stars at what they do. Not the new school agent that goes, hey, look at me, but just the one that just continues to be consistent and has really created an amazing foundation for themselves. Some of them are not doing this stuff. Maybe they've been in the game just too long or long enough. But the reality is social content in the social media world is like the coffee shop. It's like the gym. It's like a local watering hole. Watering hole. Do people even still use that term anymore? Anyhow, you know what I mean. The point is, social media allows you to connect with a lot of people online in a similar fashion to connecting with a lot of people offline when you go to one of those establishments I just mentioned. But I'd argue you can still connect with even more people online in a faster way. Now, I'll always encourage the in-person, as I just did a moment ago with the webinars and the seminars. But building authentic social content is about coming up with an actual content strategy that not only shares about the business, but it shares about you. I mean, like, you can't just be listing spam. You know what I mean? You go to those Instagram accounts, you see agents who it's like listing after listing, open house, this, that. It's a boring account. It's. I mean, I could go to the MLS if I want to see houses. Your social media is it's supposed to be you, right? It's social. So we've got to connect socially with other people. Again, if all we're doing is promoting properties, it's business boring. I don't get to know you. And recognize, too, that when I meet you at that seminar or I meet you at that door knocker, that event, or wherever it be at my kids' sports, the first thing I'm going to do is check out your Instagram account. Most people will. And if the Instagram account does not tell me who you are, I don't get to create that extension, that connection with you. So look at your social game. Ask yourself what your content strategy looks like. And I'll throw it out there to you again. If you need help with that, this is something we do within our one-to-one coaching program. This is something we do within our momentum training program. We teach you how to create the content strategy. We teach you how to act with purpose on social media. We teach you how to incorporate video. We go the distance of creating those emails, the strategy around them. And even talking about online lead generation. How can you make your website actually work for you? For very little money. What else are these agents doing? Well, we know that door knocking. There was that time a few years back where we told you're not allowed to go in and door knock. Since then, I got to tell you that although most people don't like to do it, in fact, 96% of people don't like to door knock. Of the 4% who do, 99% of them say they see business from it. So yes, it works, period. I don't want to argue with this. I know you don't like it. I know you don't want to do it. I know it sucks. I know if it's wet or if it's cold or if it's way too hot, it can be a pain in the ass. I get it. But it works. And if you're going to try to farm a neighborhood and connect with people in a geographic region that don't know who you are, your flyer and your postcard, even your online ad, they're not even close to enough. You have to get out and meet people. You have to support. And following up with old leads. I mean, this is like a gold mine. I mean, because it is. But going back in time and seeing who did I speak to. Now, when we talk about following up with old leads, the reality is when you're using the 10-year plan, again, the system that we teach within our coaching program around how to connect with people, how to follow up, how to continue to build that mind share, really what you're doing is you're taking everybody that you've ever spoken to about real estate and, of course, beyond, and everyone that's just a very fluffy way of I'm not getting specific in that sense, past clients, potential clients, friends and family, circles of influence, everyone, right? People that have inquired with you in the past, people that have a conversation with you in the past, somebody that you know that has a roof over their head. Everyone. Anybody who you've had a conversation with about real estate should already be in that 10-year plan. They should already be in the database because that was your first step towards what we call conversion, right? Converting a new opportunity into potential business. And if you're using the 10-year plan, which you should be, those old leads are constantly being followed up with anyways. Different frequencies, different conversations, different desires from each of them. But we never just let them, hang in our database without getting back in touch. Again, you've had conversations. There's already a know you factor. Maybe there's a like you factor. And for some of them, you've got a trust you factor. Continue to be in touch. They weren't ready last year. Get back in touch. They weren't ready 2 years ago. Get back in touch. They weren't ready 5 years ago. Get back in touch. They're there. They haven't made the move yet. They've got a roof over their head. Would it piss you off if they made the move and you didn't get it? If your answer is yes, then that's why we want to follow up with old leads. Again, it's a gold mine. Look, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to reframe your mindset. Okay, this market is yours to take. There are too many bad agents in this industry that don't run their business like a business. They have no idea which way's up. I see them all the time. It actually blows me away that these people are in real estate. It blows me away that they were even able to get their real estate license. Which is part of the problem with this industry. You could get a license within a year for a few $1,000s. Whereas most professional industries, it takes years of education and thousands of bucks. And that's why we see so many people. But you know something? We can't be concerned about the numbers of agents and the volume of agents. See, the ones that are not running it like a business, the ones that have no idea which way's up, those people need to be concerned. They're transactional. In fact, they don't even know how to do a transaction, but for some reason call themselves a realtor. So forget about the numbers. The agents that get it have all the opportunity in the world. Put those blinders on. Don't focus on the numbers. Don't focus on those people. And in fact, if you're frustrated right now, good. That's fuel. Let's pour some gasoline on that shit, right? Let's light that thing up. Like if you feel stuck, good. That's your trigger right now to make a move. Look, if you want more opportunities, be the person who creates the movement, not the one waiting. Too many sheeple out there. Right now, like this time at this exact moment of this market, of this year, this is your time to get even louder. This is your time to be more visible. This is your time to build the mind share. This is your time to educate, to inspire, and to guide your audience better than anybody else, whether it's another realtor, your competition, or even the media. This is your moment right now. And as you're looking for that next deal and you're thinking, where's it coming from and what's going on with this market, and I'm not seeing the business I want to see, and things are taking too long, this is your moment. Don't just sit around and wait. We got to make things happen. Look, the spring market, it's not broken. It's just honest. And it's showing everybody where the real work needs to happen. Here, some action steps for you, okay? And just before we wrap up, I want you to write this stuff down. I want you to put this stuff into action. This is your takeaway. This is, again, how to not be the lazy agent. This is how to not be exposed as a lazy agent. This is how to ensure that no matter what's going on out there, you're making the most of this market. You're making the most of this time. You're making the most of today, of right now. Which, of course, you're making the most of right now because you're sitting here listening to the Mindshare podcast. Did I say thank you yet? So some action steps, okay? Double down on consistency. Nothing happens without consistency. You could do it once. You might do it twice. But if you don't continue to do it, whatever it is, be it making your phone calls, be it posting on social, be it doing the door knock, be it, talking to people, be it going to the gym, eating properly. I mean, any of it. If you don't double down on consistency, you don't get what you want. See, no matter what, consistency is always the magic ingredient to achieving anything we want in life, both business and personal. Be real with yourself. Schedule for success. Have a plan. Run your business like a business. And stop blaming the market. Stop blaming the rates. Stop blaming the election. Stop blaming the economy. Stop blaming, the country. And I know, I said it a few minutes ago. Off the top of the show, I talked about that. And I'm still disappointed with a bunch of this stuff. But it's not slowing me down from a business perspective. It's not slowing me down and making me look and go, well, you know what? The reason that, I'm not doing enough business is because the market's not good. Yeah, maybe it's a fact for a lot of people in the industry right now. Maybe you're sitting there going, yeah, that's a fact for me right now. Okay. But, is that going to fix anything? No. Is the fact that things are slow or frustrating going to fix it? No. Stop blaming. Start doing. Take action. Think about the things that I shared with you today. Do them. See, because the thing is, most people won't. So just don't be most people. And that's how much easier it is to win. Seriously, you got to think about that. Most people won't. But if you do, you get further ahead. See, what we want to do is we want to build your economy within the economy. You get that? Build your economy within the economy. So again, with what's going on out there in the market and all the uncontrollable things that are out there, we've got to figure out how to niche in and really zero in and go, I know what I have to do, though. And I'm going to continue to do, because as I continue to do, the results will come. Remember, progress over results. As long as I make the calls, as long as I do the door knock, as long as I post on social, as long as I have the conversations, I am putting myself in a better position to win. Now, in fact, on that note, for just a quick second here, I did put out an article. I put out an article in REM Magazine, and that particular article was actually all about how to have the conversations that actually get things done, okay? Actually get things noticed. They're how deals get done. And we talked about 3 different conversations. And I'll encourage you, go over to realestatemagazine.ca, read the article. The first conversation was the buying power conversation. Conversation to have with your buyers. The second one was the seller expectation reset. Again, speaking to your sellers and helping them get into the proper mindset when it's coming to making that sale. And the third one was the motivation check before actually lowering the price. Because it's not always about just a price reduction. We've got to think about what that would do to impact our client as well as what would it do to impact us. And I gave you a whole bunch of steps there to put all of this into practice. But again, as we talk about building your economy within the economy, it does come back to the communications you're having and the contact points you have. And all of that, again, begins to churn like a machine, and it turns these conversations and all the value you're putting out there and everything else you're doing to spend your time on, as long as you're spending that time properly, it starts to create a good market for you. See, we got to keep moving. We have to keep building the mind share. We do that, and bottom line, the market share will follow. But sitting around and waiting, it's not the answer. So look, here's the deal. Like I said, and I continue to say, the market is not going to save you. The government is not going to save you. And the economy isn't going to magically turn itself around just because you're frustrated or just because things are taking too long. But you can save yourself. You can outwork all of the noise. You can outmarket all of that hesitation that people are having. And you can outlast those agents who are waiting for somebody else to do it for them or just waiting for someone to fall in their lap. Let them wait. They're order takers. We're hunters. We go out and we hunt. We go find those deals and we make them happen. See, this spring market, it isn't your excuse, it's your opportunity. So get loud, get visible, have more conversations, create more momentum, stop watching and start leading, because if you don't, somebody else will. So keep building that mind share, because that's how you earn that market share. I'll catch you on the next episode. And hey, don't forget, send me that email, david@mindshare101.com. Send me that DM to my Instagram at davidgreenspan101. Please tell me, do you want us to continue with the show? Should we change the frequency? Or are you like, absolutely continue and do not change the frequency? I need this stuff. Whatever feedback you have, please send me a personal note. I'd love to hear from you. You've been listening to the Mindshare Podcast. Whether it's on one of your favorite podcast platforms or directly from my website at mindshare101.com. While you're there, explore how our full range of services, one-to-one coaching, the Mindshare Collective group coaching, momentum training, and keynote speaking will take your business to the next level. And don't forget to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle so you can build more mindshare to earn more market share, as well as learn more about joining the revolution. For all inquiries, any inquiries, just get in touch with us today. And if you enjoyed the show, be sure to leave a review at www.ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. Of course, connect with me on Facebook and TikTok at mindshare101 and on Instagram at davidgreenspan101. I want to thank Kits Keep in Touch Systems, REM Magazine, and Revel Realty for their continued support as sponsors of the show. This has been another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.